All right, beautiful people. What's up? It's author Jay Freedom, author of We Out, How to End Our Abusive Relationship with America. I just wanted to jump on and talk about a few things. I'm sitting from Mexico. I'm in Cancun. Those of you who've been following for a while, you know that I'm in Cancun. And I was looking at the hurricane and I was looking at the different types of responses. I'm from Louisiana. I've lived in Baton Rouge in New Orleans, in Louisiana, and the hurricane response is totally different in the United States compared to Mexico. I've asked some of the locals, telling them the differences between the recovery time and things of that nature. And they were saying it's because back like 20 years ago, they got hit with Hurricane Wilma. And the economy was devastated for a very long time. And Cancun relies on tourism dollars, so everything has to be in place. Oh, before I forget, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, turn on the notification bell. The book is available on Amazon as paperback, ebook, and Audible. I forgot to do that housekeeping stuff earlier. All right, anyway, so the economy was devastated. It's one of the places that, has a significant economic impact, not just only on the region, but the nation, Mexico as a whole. So one of the things that I noticed, and I've been here a little over 4 years now, one year we got hit like back to back. It's like 4 or 5 storms in a row. And one of the things I noticed is that before storms, they take down the billboards. They come through, they trim trees, they clear drains, all this stuff, clean up the medians and potential hazards, right? Things that could be flying debris. Secondly, after the storm, and once it's safe, the winds die down, they get everybody and their grandmother. I'm talking about people who work in offices. You can tell that they are not used to being out in that type of heat and environment and doing manual labor. And it's not with machines. They're out there with like rakes and brooms. They go through and they pick up the debris and clear the streets and all of that. And then the big trucks come by and pick it up later on. They start trimming up the trees that fell and knocking those down as well. Put the billboards back up. They hustle and get the utilities back on. But another thing that I noticed as well is the long-term damage. So last year, Hurricane Ida. So Hurricane Ida was like a tropical storm for us in Cancun. It started as a tropical wave, came up through the Caribbean. By the time it got to us in Cancun, it was a tropical storm. By the time it came across the Gulf, came across the Yucatan, went across the Gulf, it went to Louisiana. Louisiana was devastated. This happened in August. Matter of fact, the anniversary date of Katrina, August 29th. And so we went to Louisiana for a visit, go see a family member. And we couldn't get a flight into Baton Rouge. We went there like maybe September 3rd. So it was still like, relatively, close to that hurricane. Anyway, so the road, it takes like an hour and a half to get to Baton Rouge from New Orleans. We flew into New Orleans, and it just everything was just chopped up bad. It just didn't look good on the highway, trees and stuff everywhere. It's just, kind of, they didn't, like they hadn't gotten to it yet, And so, and they had damage in Baton Rouge and New Orleans. But what I noticed is that in Cancun and, Caribbean nations in general, they don't build properties the same way. They use cinder blocks and concrete and flat roofs. They don't use the plywood and the, not sheetrock. Well, they don't use sheetrock either. They use what is that? What are they? Those shingles. They don't use the shingles. And so, like, there can be damage, but it's less likely to have damage. And, same thing. I went to Puerto Rico for like a donations drive to drop off supplies that had gotten through donations to take to the people of Puerto Rico. We had some friends that were living there, water filtration tablets, supplies, toiletries, hygienic supplies, sanitary items for the ladies, things that we knew, being from Louisiana, things that we knew that they needed. Gift certificates to Home Depot, Walgreens, that type of stuff, where you can get stuff. Sometimes you just shopping at Walgreens because ain't nothing else open, right? So even there, the houses aren't made the same. The buildings, the structures aren't made the same. And Cancun has a lot more newer infrastructure than Puerto Rico does. And I'm speaking about San Juan. There's a lot of older structures in San Juan. But even then, those structures tend to be more solidly built. And then I started thinking, like, why would they do use sheetrock and particle board, and some of y'all peel your garages back if it's unfinished. Look at it, it's particle board in there. And they charge you $250,000 for these houses that's gonna melt if they flood with the sheetrock and the particle board, or the wind is gonna blow off if the wind blows too hard, right? Your shingles are gonna fly off, your siding is gonna fly off. Those types of things. And so I was trying to figure out why, especially places like Louisiana, Florida, watching the devastation from Hurricane Ian and all of this stuff. My friend in Puerto Rico had water. I've never had water come in anywhere that I've lived in Cancun. But my friend in Puerto Rico had water. It didn't get up too high. It was maybe an inch or two. She got the squeegee, push that water on out the front door, and boom, just like new. If that happened in Louisiana, that would have been devastating. People have to pull up their floors, they have to pull up the baseboards, the sheetrock, and you got to bring it up a few inches above for where the flood line is. And a lot of times with these federal programs, I've worked in disaster recovery before as well. These federal programs, you have to have a certain height of water in your house, otherwise you don't qualify. So if it goes, if you live in a structure that's above ground, and it, the water gets the bottom of your house, you're screwed if you don't have flood insurance. You don't qualify for federal programs. Or if it comes in your house and it doesn't come up, let's say 6 inches, then you're on your own, and especially if you don't have flood insurance, right? So I was just thinking about that today, and it just made me think that capitalism sucks. It's a good thing, but then it sucks at the same time, because the people who are at the bottom end of capitalism, they don't get to play in the game. And they're usually the ones on the back end who end up getting burned. And it's not fair. So what are these people going to do? Where are they going to go? And the trip part is that not only are homes in the United States built poorly and overly inflated prices, and with subpar materials like particle board in your garage and sheetrock, if it gets wet, it's over. Baseboards and all of that kind of stuff, or pressed wood, not pressed wood, particle board basically. They even put it on the roof sometimes. Crazy. I know some of the old houses have the old straight up plywood, but a lot of these new builds, they don't have that plywood. They got that straight up particle board. I might be saying the wrong thing. Maybe it's not particle board. I forgot what's pressed wood. I forgot what the name of it is. But y'all know that stuff that look like pressed together mulch that they put on the walls inside your garage. in an unfinished garage, or unfinished basement, or, the roof of your house, look at your attic. So yeah, what are your thoughts? Do you think it would be better if the United States built better, or built to withstand, especially the Gulf Coast, as we see climate change and the heating of the Gulf waters and more of these horrific storms coming through? You can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. You know what I mean? You can't just build it and then huff and puff it blows down and then rebuild it and huff and puff it blows. You can't just keep doing that. There has to be a better way. There has to be a better, a better way of having a structure withstand those types of winds. There has to be a better way. Why aren't they finding solutions? Also, the federal government isn't going to be able to keep doing insurance. Not insurance, but the FEMA. They're not going to keep being able to help people out with the disaster SNAP and the DSNAP, they call it DSNAP, the disaster food stamps. They're not going to keep being able to, not going to be able to keep helping people with the FEMA checks and the housing assistance and all of that. And it's, same thing with the insurance companies. A lot of the insurance companies just aren't writing. A lot of places, especially Gulf states, you have to get it through FEMA, through the government, because the insurance companies just aren't writing policies in Louisiana, Florida, Alabama, the Gulf Coast states, the Gulf states. And, again, as these storms intensify, as they increase, places that weren't, that were considered safe or didn't get storms, regularly, like on the East Coast, West Coast, the insurance companies, they don't have the money to pay for it. You pay all this money, all this time, and when you need to call, get your insurance, they will nickel and dime you. They want to pay you pennies on a dollar. You itemizing everything, your pots, your pans, your spatulas, it's every item that you can find in your house to put on that insurance list for replacement of contents. They want to nickel and dime you for all of that. So, it's just not going to cut it. I got to figure something out. What are your thoughts? Let me know. I hope everybody's safe. Folks who were affected by the storm, your loved ones affected by the storm. Send some good energy, some good vibes to you guys. Don't forget, we out. Audiobook, ebook, paperback, available on Amazon. I'm getting better. I'm getting better at posting more videos more regularly. I've been getting emails and DMs and messages. The people are ready, yo. It's Exodus time. It's straight up Exodus time. It is Black Exodus time. The time is now. The movement is now. The momentum has been building for a while. And I'm trying to find a reliable tech person to help me out. I do have visual issues. I explained in my earlier videos. I'm now visually impaired, so I can't really do the live streams right now because I need somebody to help me read out the comments to me. So I'm working on that now. And also getting somebody to help out with the leaving the information and stuff and the links and all of that stuff in the title. So be patient. If you know anybody, tell them to holler at your girl. I debated on whether or not to rock my hat because I didn't feel like combing my hair today. Some of those days you just be chilling, and I just did not feel like being bothered with myself. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to let the people see me as I am. So it is what it is. So, all right. Love, peace. Stay safe. Stay woke. We out.